pot of pottage boils over a low fire. Peas, beans, something pale and starchy underneath. The smell is thick, earthy, a little sour. No one has spoken yet. You are eating better than a medieval king. And that is not a compliment to you. That is an indictment of the Middle Ages. A medieval peasant ate close to 4,000 calories a day. More than a modern athlete. Sit with that number for a second. And almost all of it was bread. Everything you think you know about medieval feasts is wrong. Kings ate badly too, just with more spices to hide the rot. Agnes, 34, mother of 3, Norfolk, 1313. This is her kitchen, her morning, her hands, right now, stirring the same pot you just saw. The pot needs more water. There is less grain than there was yesterday. There is always less grain than there was yesterday. 90% of Agnes's calories come from 2 things: pottage and bread. Pottage, a gray sludge of boiled peas, beans, and whatever root vegetables have not yet rotted. It is the same meal at breakfast, midday, and night. Every day, every season. The bread is the real story. In bad years, up to 80% of the flour was stretched. Ground peas, beans, even bark dust mixed in. This is documented, not exaggeration. Archaeologists examining medieval English skeletal remains find teeth worn flat, ground down by grit and bark fragments baked into daily bread. By 40, many peasants had teeth reduced to stumps. Not from sugar, from the bread that kept them alive. You complain about whole grain bread being dry. Agnes's bread had bark in it. Peasants ate almost no meat. Here is the specific reason why. A pig alive is worth more than a pig eaten. A live pig forages, breeds, and grows. A dead pig feeds your family for a week, and then it is gone. Chickens were egg machines, not meat. Killing a hen for dinner meant losing every egg it would have laid for the next 2 years. But Agnes's body was hiding something no historian talked about until 2018. Hold that thought. Hunting was illegal for peasants like Agnes. The forest belonged to the Lord. Forest law from the 13th century onward made poaching a documented offense. Fines, confiscated tools, sometimes imprisonment. Meat day in Agnes's house meant a few ounces of bacon fat stirred into the pottage. Not a meal, a flavor. You decide what meat to eat tonight. Agnes has not eaten meat in 11 days. Salted fish, months old. Documented medieval preservation kept salted fish edible for 6 to 12 months, edible being a generous word. By month 4, the smell alone would stop a modern person at the door. Meat, when there was any, was packed in pepper, not for flavor, to mask decay. And then there was the water problem. You did not drink water in Norfolk in 1314 unless you wanted dysentery. Ale was not a beverage choice. Ale was survival. Brewed, boiled, safer than the well. Cloudy, weak, slightly sour. This is what Agnes's children drank instead of milk most days. Agnes counts the grain sacks. Again. The number has not changed since this morning, but it feels smaller. Remember what I said a minute ago? That Agnes's body was hiding something? Here is what nobody tells you about medieval food. In some ways, Agnes's diet was healthier than yours. No processed sugar, no seed oils, no ultra-processed anything. 4,000 calories, but from whole grains, root vegetables, occasional protein. Agnes's body is lean, strong from labor. Her hands never stop performing. But she is starving in a way that has nothing to do with calories. Skeletal remains from 14th century Norfolk show specific documented deficiencies. Vitamin D, almost no dairy, almost no sun exposure during the working season indoors. Iron, almost no meat ever. This caused documented rickets in children and chronic anemia in women of Agnes's age. Agnes will never be obese. She will also never see 45. It is spring, 1315. The rains begin. They do not stop. This is the same famine covered in our previous documentary, but now it is happening to Agnes, specifically in her kitchen, to her children. The wheat rots in the field before it can be harvested. Documented chronicles from 1315 to 1317 record grain prices rising as much as 8 times their normal level. Agnes's grain sacks, already thin, are now functionally empty. This is where it gets worse. Famine year chronicles from this period document people eating bark stripped from trees, ground into a kind of flour. Grass, boiled until soft enough to chew. Roots never intended to be food, dug from hedgerows out of desperation. Agnes has 3 children. She gives them the bark bread first. She gives them the boiled grass first. She does not eat until they have eaten. Some days, that means she does not eat. Remember the pottage from the beginning of this video? That was the good years. The same pot, the same fire. Now it holds bark and water, and almost nothing else. Not a metaphor. Documented. Chronicles from the Great Famine record mortality rates in some English villages reaching 10 to 15% of the population within 2 years. Next time you open your refrigerator, remember Agnes. Remember what food security actually meant, and what it meant to lose it. Which fact in this video surprised you most? The 4,000 calories, or what happened when it ran out? Tell me below. And if this kind of history matters to you, subscribe. There is more of Agnes's world waiting.